Welcome back to The Reaction, our brand new show that gives you guys at home an immediate reaction to some of the biggest fixtures in the Premier League this season. It's back, baby, and behind me, I'm just watching the closing seconds of Leeds United versus Liverpool, two of my least favourite sides in world football, but potentially my favourite ever opening day fixture. This game was a stunner. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to be looking at the game as a whole, some of the key players, some of the key moments, and what the teams have to look forward to next week. Alright, let's start with the match itself, because that was like a game of FIFA, wasn't it? Where both of the players on each pad hadn't quite worked out the defending mechanic. Basically me, how do you defend on FIFA nowadays? Because ironically, both of these teams were the best defences in their league. Leeds in the Championship kept 5 more clean sheets than their closest rival, Liverpool, last season. Only conceded 33 goals in the Premier League, so I was expecting 2 really solid backlines. And we definitely didn't get that, did we? Let's start with Liverpool, because going forwards, they still look brilliant, don't they? Mohamed Salah looks razor sharp. Whatever his barber has done to him in the preseason, taking that extra inch off, has added about 5 yards of pace. He looks brilliant, but we'll talk about him later on in the key players section. Because at the back, Liverpool were all over the place tonight. Yes, they may have picked up the 3 points, but I thought they were terrible defensively. I thought they were way too high up the pitch, and at times the centre-backs weren't even holding the same line. Gomez was 2 to 3 yards deeper than Virgil van Dijk, who himself had a shitter. But it's not the first time they've struggled post-lockdown. That combination has at times looked a little bit shaky in pre-season. Of course, they were 2-0 down in Salzburg. I think they were 2-0 down against Blackpool as well, which makes it a little bit puzzling for me anyway, that they've shipped Lovren out, one of the central defensive options, haven't signed a replacement. Yes, they did get a good fee, but maybe they look one centre-back short, in my opinion. Now, it wasn't helped they didn't have Fabinho in front of them either. He was left on the bench. Naby Keita, who's had a fantastic pre-season, was selected ahead of him. Jordan Henderson is always going to play. And then Gini Wijnaldum played as well. I thought that was maybe a little bit of a poor decision. I would still go with the midfield three of Fabinho, Keita and Henderson. I think that's Liverpool's best midfield three, because at the back, they were just poor. Last season, it took them 28 games to concede 3 goals in a single match. They've done it on opening night here, and that'll be a concern for Jurgen. But as much as Liverpool struggled at the back and were bailed out by brilliant Mohamed Salah, let's take nothing away from Leeds, because how fun were they to watch tonight? I genuinely can't remember too many times in the last couple of seasons that a team has carved Liverpool open as brilliantly as that. I love how Harrison and Klich got into the box, arrived late. I really enjoyed the wingers coming inside, and I thought Patrick Bamford had an okay time until he was substituted too. So yeah, absolutely loved Leeds' performance. Yes, they were a little bit shaky at the back, but I think we can forgive them. They're going away to Anfield, an incredibly tough test. But nevertheless, I'd imagine Bielsa's going to work on it. And I just bloody loved that Leeds performance. Yes, they lost, but it was so fun. Okay, let's look at some of the key moments in the games. I'm going to focus on the goals because, quite frankly, there were so many of them, wasn't there? Let's start with the first one. Early doors, handball. Did you guys at home think it was a penalty? For me, maybe a little bit harsh, but I can see why it's given. The arms away from the body, and it's kind of in an unnatural position, even though it takes a deflection off his leg. Jamie Carragher definitely thought it was a harsh one. Mohamed Salah, though, does what he always does, scored from the spot. That meant that tonight he becomes the first player in Premier League history to score on the opening day of the season in 4 consecutive seasons. However, Leeds hit back really well, didn't they? What an amazing ball by Calvin Phillips over the top, and a brilliant touchdown by Jack Harrison, agent Jack Harrison, because of course he's on loan from Manchester City, isn't he? And I thought he had a really solid game coming in off that flank. But that was the first example, really, of Liverpool's line not being quite right. The less said about the second Liverpool goal, the better. It's absolutely horrific defending by Koch, isn't it? Koch blocked by Sadio Mane, and obviously Virgil van Dijk does what he does best, heading in from a corner. He's scored 10 goals since the start of 18-19. That's 2 more than any other defender in that period. He is a beast in the opposition box, and usually in his own box. But tonight, flaky. And you can see that in the howler he had for the Patrick Bamford equaliser. Patrick Bamford does take it quite well, but what on earth is he doing trying to sort of flick it off? It's a little bit too arrogant for me. Yes, you're the best or second best defender, centre-back at least, in world football, but just clear your lines in that scenario. It's a difficult ball dropping over your shoulder. And he's now made 2 errors leading directly to a goal in his last 4 Premier League games. That's more than he'd made in his previous 154. The next goal, of course, came from Mohamed Salah. What a finish. It's just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Into the postage stamp. 97 goals, by the way, and 41 assists Mohamed Salah now has in 154 career games at Liverpool. Frightening numbers. I have to say, when the next goal went in, the equaliser from Leeds, 3-3, I thought, you know what? Leeds could go on to win this. In the 10 minutes previous to that goal, I thought Leeds were really starting to show the best of themselves. They were starting to puff their chests out, very confident on the ball, sort of the performance we'd seen from them in the Championship. And how good was Klich's touch? Incredible ball into him by Costa, but the touch, the turn, the swivel, the finish, sensational. 19 goal involvements for Klich in Bielsa's first season, only 11 last year. He'll be hoping to put up double figures yet again this year. And that advanced midfield run is something I think we're definitely going to see more of come the rest of the season. We have to talk about it as well, don't we? Liverpool's winner, Rodrigo. Hang your head in shame, lad. What is that tackle? It's a proper striker's challenge in the box, isn't it? And to be honest with you, it's just not good enough. It's a lazy tackle. And you've cost your team 3 points with that one switch off of concentration. And that's all it takes in the Premier League at this level. I'm a little bit gutted for Leeds, I have to say. But Mohamed Salah tucks away the penalty. What a player. So we may as well move on to him in the key players section. Personally, I think Salah looked the sharpest player on the pitch by an absolute mile. It seems like he's had a full pre-season. He's come back so quickly. An extra yard of pace, I'd say, compared to the rest of the team. I thought Mane and Firmino at times looked a little bit ponderous, whereas Salah was so quick. His home record at Anfield is incredible. 52 goals in 63 home games in the Premier League. Only Alan Shearer has bettered that, by the way. He was 50 and 47, I think. Just incredible what Mohamed Salah is doing, breaking Leeds' hearts, but he's doing it week in, week out. I'm absolutely buzzing, can I just say. I picked him as my first draft pick in the Football Daily Draft. As for Leeds, I want to start by talking about Calvin Phillips. Obviously, he got his England cap this week as well, so it's been an incredible week for Calvin Phillips, and I thought he played really well at times. Some great distribution from deep, particularly for the first Leeds goal. However, I do think Leeds need to give him some support in that midfield role. When Hernandez and Klich go forward, at times it left him a little bit exposed. I felt like Phillips was trying to cover too much ground, and that allowed Firmino to pick up those little pockets of space where he's so dangerous. Sometimes the ball was too easy into the feet of the forwards. Not saying that's Calvin Phillips' fault, but I think his role is going to have to be really defined under Bielsa this season, because Hernandez and Klich just pressing so high up the pitch can't be that exposed every game, because they are going to concede a lot of goals if that happens. As for what's next for the two teams, Liverpool have another really tough test. This time it's away at Chelsea, and Chelsea have obviously been doing a madness in the transfer window, so I'm really excited to see that game. That defence is going to have to be way better than it was tonight against Leeds, when it's got Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Pulisic, if he's fit, raining down on them. That will be a concern for me. As for Leeds, they've got a tough midweek game against Hull City in the EFL Cup, but then they've got Fulham next week, and I really hope that Leeds play that advanced, attacking, high-pressing style of football that we saw tonight, because it's so much fun, man. It's so much fun, and I think they'll roll over Fulham fairly easily, given what I saw from Fulham against Arsenal today, which was nothing. But nevertheless, Leeds fans, let me know what you thought of that game. You must be absolutely gutted. And Liverpool fans, are you concerned about that backline? Let me know in the comments below. So that's all we've got time for today on The Reaction. If you enjoyed the Strand, please do hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you later.